Please, I beg you, I'm so hungry. Just a little food, please.
Imagine a poor roadside food seller struggling to survive, and a mysterious little girl who shows up every day begging for food. No one knew where she came from. No one knew who she belonged to. Some even said she was a spirit. But Amanda fed her anyway. What Amanda didn't know was that this innocent act of kindness was being watched closely by someone whose identity would shake the entire market and change her life forever. And when a Rolls-Royce convoy suddenly pulled up to her small wooden stall, everyone froze. Who was inside? Why had they come for a simple food seller? And what secret was that little girl hiding? Stay with me till the end, because what happens next will leave you breathless. Before we begin, prepare yourself, because this story will shake your heart in ways you never expected. Let's dive in. Amanda was a 24-year-old hardworking roadside food vendor who cooked beside the bustling gate of the state university. Every morning before the first lecture bell rang, she arrived at her small wooden kiosk with a pot of steaming jollof rice, fried plantain, beans, and freshly made akara. Smoke rose from her charcoal stove, mixing with the chatter of students rushing to class. Although she was a part-time student herself, Amanda worked twice as hard as everyone else she knew, because survival gave her no choice. Her parents were old, fragile, and too sick to do much. Her father's sight was failing, and her mother suffered constant waist pain, making it difficult for her to walk around. Amanda was their only hope. Every school fee, hospital bill, and meal depended on the food she sold by the roadside. Yet she never complained. Her dream was simple: finish school, get a better life, and lift her parents out of poverty. Business on this particular afternoon was good. Students gathered around her table, praising the taste of her food and joking about how her jollof rice could heal heartbreak. Amanda smiled as she served them. Her hands moved quickly, one hand scooping rice, the other packing plantain, yet she remained gentle and attentive, knowing many students were struggling just like she was. By 3 p.m., the sun softened and shadows stretched across the gate. Amanda wiped sweat from her forehead and leaned on her counter for a breath. That was when she noticed a small figure standing a few meters away, thin legs, dusty feet, and an oversized faded dress. The girl looked too timid to come closer, yet too hungry to walk away. Her eyes, wide and tired, stayed fixed on Amanda's pot of food. Amanda called out softly, "Come, my dear. Do you want something to eat?" The girl hesitated, then stepped forward slowly. Her voice shook with exhaustion. "Auntie, please, I am hungry. My name is Amara." Amanda's heart tightened. The girl couldn't be more than 12. The way she held her stomach showed she hadn't eaten properly in days. Amanda didn't ask for money. She didn't question her. She simply packed a warm plate of rice, beans, and plantain and placed it gently in front of the child. "Sit and eat," she said. "You're safe here." Amara's eyes watered with gratitude. She sat on the wooden bench beside the stall and began to eat. Not like someone who was greedy, but like someone who desperately needed food to survive. Every bite brought visible relief to her small, trembling body. Amanda watched quietly. She didn't know who the girl was, where she came from, or why she was roaming the streets alone. But something about her stirred a protective softness in Amanda's heart. She had always helped people when she could, students who owed money, beggars who needed water, strangers who needed directions. But this child touched her differently. She felt responsible for her immediately. When Amara finished the last grain of rice, she whispered, "Thank you," stood up, and walked away slowly. Amanda watched her until she disappeared into the crowd of students. She thought that was the end of it. But the next day, at almost the same hour, Amara returned, still quiet, still hungry, still alone. Amanda didn't hesitate. She gave her another full plate of food. Again, the girl ate gratefully and left without explaining where she lived or who she belonged to. On the third day, Amara came again. By the fourth day, it became a silent routine. Amanda didn't need to ask questions anymore. Every time she saw the small figure approaching from afar, she packed a plate of food in advance. It felt natural, almost like caring for a younger sister or a daughter she didn't have. But not everyone understood her compassion. Other food vendors whispered behind her back, "Why is she feeding a strange girl every day? She's wasting her food. What if that child is a ghost?" What if she will bring bad luck? Some students even warned her, telling her stories of children who pretended to be hungry but were thieves at night. But Amanda ignored all of them. She saw something pure in Amara, something that reminded her of her own childhood struggles. She had known what it meant to be hungry, helpless, and overlooked. She couldn't punish a child for a situation beyond her control. One evening, after packing up her pots and washing her plates, Amanda returned home and told her parents about the mysterious girl. Her mother listened carefully and sighed. "My daughter, kindness will never fail you. If God brought that child to your door, feed her." Her father nodded. "Whenever you give to a child, you give to heaven." Their words strengthened Amanda's resolve. She knew she wasn't rich. In fact, every meal she gave Amara cut deep into her small profit. But somehow, after feeding the girl, she always ended each day with unexpected blessings. More customers, more sales, more peace. She didn't know it yet, but the simple decision to feed a hungry child would one day rewrite her entire destiny. And somewhere far away, watching from a distance she didn't even know existed, someone had already taken notice. The following week unfolded like a gentle rhythm that Amanda did not plan, but slowly grew to cherish. Every afternoon, just as the sun began to drift toward evening, she would glance instinctively at the road leading toward the campus junction. And almost like clockwork, a small figure would appear, dusty feet, tired eyes, and that oversized faded dress that swayed around thin legs. Amara always came quietly, as though afraid someone might chase her away. At first, Amanda thought the child might eventually stop coming if she found a better place to eat or someone to take her in. But instead, Amara's visits became more consistent than even her regular customers. With each passing day, a silent bond formed between them, one built on nothing but kindness given freely and gratitude received genuinely. Amanda never asked Amara for money. She never reduced her portion or replaced the rice with leftovers. She served her the best part of the pot, soft plantain, fresh stew, beans that had just finished cooking. She treated the child with dignity, something the world had clearly denied her. And Amara, shy as she was, responded with sincerity. She always whispered, "Thank you, Auntie Amanda," before leaving. Always the same gentle tone, always the same look of relief. But the street was full of eyes, and people always talked. By the fourth week, the whispers became louder. "What does that girl even want?" one woman muttered to Amanda. "She looks like someone who will bring trouble." Another vendor shook her head. "You're wasting your food. That girl is not normal. Sometimes she disappears from the market for hours. People say they see her walking alone at night." A group of students sitting nearby joined in. "Madam Amanda, be careful, these children nowadays. You don't know who is who." Some swore the girl was a spirit. Some said she was a runaway. Others suggested she was using the food business as a hiding place. But Amanda didn't budge. One quiet afternoon, Amara finished eating and sat beside Amanda for the first time. She didn't rush away like she usually did. Instead, she swung her small legs back and forth, gently tapping the ground with her toes. Amanda wiped her hands on her apron and sat beside her. "You're quiet today. Are you okay?" The girl nodded. "Do you have somewhere you sleep?" A long silence followed. Amara opened her mouth as if to speak, then closed it. Tears filled her eyes but didn't fall. Amanda felt a sharp ache in her chest, realizing she might have touched a wound too deep to express. "It's okay," Amanda said softly. "You don't need to say anything. Just know you're safe here." Amara nodded again, but the sadness in her eyes lingered. From that day onward, something changed. The girl no longer ate and rushed away. She began to linger a little, sometimes helping Amanda pack plates, sometimes sweeping the ground, sometimes just sitting quietly beside the stove watching steam rise from the pots. Amanda didn't ask her to help, but she didn't stop her either. She loved the girl's gentle spirit. One evening, Amanda returned home and told her parents everything. "She doesn't talk much," Amanda said, "but she looks like someone who has seen too much for her age." Her mother sighed deeply. "Many children wander the streets because life failed their parents. You are doing God's work by feeding her." Her father leaned forward on his wooden chair. "But my daughter, be wise. Kindness is good, but safety is important. Keep your eyes open." Amanda nodded, promising to be careful. Despite the warnings, she couldn't shake the feeling that Amara's presence in her life was not accidental. The girl appeared every day at the exact moment Amanda felt most tired, most discouraged. It was as though the universe sent Amara to remind her that her struggles had meaning, that she was not just cooking for survival, but touching lives in ways she didn't fully understand. Soon, the students caught on to the strange bond forming between the food seller and the young girl. Some teased Amanda playfully. I am. Auntie Amanda, where is your daughter? Others smiled warmly at the sight of them together. She looks like she trusts you, one said. You must be a good person. Amanda didn't know how to explain it, but feeding the child gave her a sense of purpose beyond money. Every plate she handed over felt like she was feeding a part of herself, her compassion, her dreams, her desire to make a difference in the world. One afternoon, rain clouds gathered unexpectedly. The wind rose, blowing dust into the market and sending papers flying. The students rushed to the gate, looking for shelter. Amanda quickly grabbed her utensils and covered her pots with a large cloth, preparing for the storm. Then she heard footsteps. Amara appeared, soaking wet, shivering, clutching her thin dress. Without thinking, Amanda ran to her, pulled her under the umbrella and wrapped a spare shawl around her shoulders. You're cold, Amanda whispered. Sit here. She didn't care that the storm was coming. She didn't care that she would lose customers. She only cared that the child needed warmth. As thunder cracked above them, Amara reached for Amanda's hand and held it tightly. It shocked Amanda because the girl had never touched her before, not even accidentally. The small hand trembled, not only from the cold, but from a deeper fear. Auntie Amanda, Amara whispered. Thank you for not pushing me away. Amanda blinked. The words felt like a knife and a hug at the same time. You are welcome, my dear, she said, squeezing her hand gently. You deserve love too. When the rain stopped and the clouds cleared, something new had formed between them. An unspoken trust, a protective bond neither of them understood yet. That night, as Amanda walked home, she felt a strange heaviness in her chest. Not fear, not worry, something else, like a doorway opening in her life, leading to a place she had never imagined. She didn't know where it would lead, but she sensed that Amara was at the center of it. And far away, hidden in the shadows of the junction, someone had been watching, every single day. Someone who was about to step into Amanda's world in a way that would change everything. Amanda's bond with Amara grew stronger with each passing day. Weeks rolled into a month, and feeding the little girl became part of Amanda's daily routine, almost as natural as lighting her charcoal stove every morning. The market women still gossiped, the students still whispered, and some passers-by still gave Amanda that suspicious side-eye whenever they saw Amara sitting beside her. But none of that mattered anymore. What Amanda felt toward the child went beyond charity. It was something deeper, an instinctive connection she couldn't explain. She didn't know where Amara slept at night. She didn't know who her parents were. She didn't know why the girl looked so unkempt and lost. But she didn't push her. She fed her. She listened when she spoke. She allowed her to sweep the stall, wash plates, or sit beside her in silence. To Amanda, kindness was not a transaction. It was a language, and Amara understood it perfectly. But everything changed on a Thursday afternoon. The sun hung low and the heat felt heavier than usual. Amanda had just finished serving the last group of students heading for their 4 p.m. lecture. She stood behind her counter, fanning herself with an empty carton when she saw Amara approaching. Nothing unusual, except today, the girl didn't look tired or sad. She walked with a strange excitement in her step. Her face glowed with a smile Amanda had rarely seen. Amara, my dear, you look happy today, Amanda said warmly. The young girl nodded quickly, almost bouncing. Auntie Amanda, can I eat? She asked politely, though Amanda knew she didn't need to ask. Of course, Amanda replied, already packing food. Sit down. Amara sat on her usual bench and ate quietly at first. Amanda watched her, feeling the familiar warmth in her chest. But halfway through the meal, Amara suddenly paused. She lifted her head and stared seriously at Amanda. Auntie, she said slowly. Yes, dear. My daddy would like to meet you. Amanda froze. For a moment, she thought she misheard. Your what? My daddy, Amara repeated, nodding firmly. He wants to see you tomorrow. Amanda blinked. Her heart beat faster, not out of excitement, but confusion. So the girl had a father? Where had he been all this while? Why had the child been roaming the streets alone? Why had he allowed strangers to feed her? Why hadn't he come himself? A wave of anxiety washed over Amanda. She sat down opposite the girl. Amara, my dear, why does your daddy want to see me? Amara licked her spoon and shrugged lightly. He said you are kind. He said he wants to thank you. Amanda swallowed hard. Thank her for feeding his daughter? Where had he been during all this? Why hadn't he come sooner? Was he a poor man? A traveler? A dangerous person? Thousands of thoughts stormed Amanda's mind. Who is your father? She asked carefully. But Amara only smiled, a mysterious little smile that made Amanda even more nervous. You'll see him tomorrow, she replied. He said he will come here. Amanda's breath hitched. He will come here? To my kiosk? Yes, Amara nods. He wants to say thank you. The girl sounded so certain that Amanda didn't know what else to say. Fear, curiosity, excitement, and confusion battled inside her. She didn't want trouble. She didn't want drama. She had simply been feeding a hungry child because her heart demanded it. But now someone she had never met, wanted to meet her because of it. Amanda watched Amara finish her food. She noticed for the first time how the girl spoke confidently, almost like she came from a home where manners were taught. Her English was clean, her voice steady. It didn't match her appearance at all. Amanda had always assumed she was from the slums or the streets, but now she wasn't so sure. Please tell him, I will be here, Amanda finally said. But I'm afraid I don't know who he is. Amara stood up, brushing crumbs off her dress. Don't be afraid. My daddy is a good man. And with that, she waved and walked away. That night, Amanda could not rest. She sat on her small bed in their narrow one-room apartment, staring at the ceiling while her parents listened with growing worry. Her mother frowned deeply. My daughter, this is strange. The girl has a father? Then why is she always alone? Her father leaned heavily on his cane. If the man is poor, fine. But if he's dangerous or angry, you must be careful. Amanda nodded. Her mind wouldn't settle. She said he wants to thank me. She said he's coming tomorrow. But I don't understand. Something doesn't add up. Her mother sighed. Still be kind, but also be cautious. Amanda prayed that night, prayed that she had not unknowingly invited trouble into her life. Yet something inside her whispered that this meeting would not be ordinary. The next morning, Amanda reached the stall earlier than usual. Her hands trembled slightly as she arranged her pots, cleaned her tables, and set up her stove. Every movement felt heavier. Every passing second stretched into minutes. The entire market seemed tense. One vendor asked, Amanda, are you okay? You look worried. Amanda forced a small smile. I'm fine, just expecting someone. But the truth was she felt like she was standing at the edge of a cliff she didn't know she had climbed. She kept replaying Amara's words. My daddy wants to meet you. She didn't know whether to expect a shouting father, a desperate one, a grateful one, or a man who would accuse her of misleading his child. By noon, the sun blazed hot, Amanda's apron soaked with sweat. Students came and went, but her eyes kept drifting toward the road. Still no sign of Amara. By 3 p.m., her fear escalated. What if the girl didn't come? What if the father came alone? What if this was all a misunderstanding? What if she had unknowingly offended someone? At 4 p.m., her heart nearly stopped when she heard a child's voice behind her. Auntie Amanda! Amanda spun around. There she was, Amara, running toward her, smiling wide. But today, there was something different in her eyes. An excitement, a glow, a secret she knew that Amanda didn't. Amanda's breath quickened. Are you okay? You scared me. Amara giggled. Sorry, but my daddy said he will come tomorrow instead. He traveled this morning. He will be back very early. Tomorrow, another sleepless night. Amanda swallowed hard. Okay, I will be here. Amara nodded, ate quickly, and left, but not before giving Amanda a long, silent look full of meaning Amanda could not decode. A quiet warning? A promise? A sign of what was coming? Amanda didn't know, but she felt it. Something huge was approaching her life, and tomorrow everything would begin to unfold. The next morning began with an unusual heaviness in the air. Amanda woke earlier than usual, her heart already beating fast. She couldn't shake the nervousness that had settled in her chest since Amara's message. Sleep had barely touched her. She had spent the entire night imagining every possible scenario. Who was this father? Why had he allowed his daughter to roam the streets alone? Why did he suddenly want to meet her? As Amanda prepared her pots, her hands trembled so much that she almost spilled the stew. Even her mother noticed the nervous shaking when she came out to see her off. "You are thinking too much," her mother said gently. "Just go and do your work. Whatever happens, happens." Amanda forced a smile. "I'm trying, Mama." But the truth was, she felt like she was walking towards something she couldn't define. Something big, something life-changing. The market was already awake when she arrived. The chatter of traders, the cries of hawkers, and the sound of vehicles filling the busy road created their usual chaotic music. Normally, Amanda blended right in, setting up her stall without attracting any special attention. But today was different. People noticed her, noticed the tension on her face, the way she kept glancing nervously at the road, how she kept wiping her palms on her apron for no reason. One of the food vendors leaned toward her. "Amanda, you're restless today. Is something wrong?" Amanda hesitated. "I'm expecting someone." The woman raised an eyebrow. "A customer or a problem?" Amanda didn't answer. She simply arranged her pots and tried to breathe steadily. Students soon began arriving in clusters, laughing, talking, buying food before rushing for their lectures. Amanda served them with her usual grace, but her smile was tight. Every time a car slowed down, her heart jumped. Every time a shadow moved, she turned. Every loud sound made her stomach clench. "Calm down," she whispered to herself repeatedly. But she couldn't. By noon, the heat was intense. Sweat glued Amanda's hair to her neck. Her apron was damp. Her throat felt dry. And yet, she still scanned the road with every passing second. But Amara didn't come. Not at noon, not at 1, not at 2. The later the day grew, the more Amanda's anxiety tightened like a rope around her chest. What if Amara didn't come at all? What if something bad had happened? What if the father already visited and Amanda missed him? What if this whole thing was a misunderstanding? Her thoughts spiraled until she could barely think straight. One of the male students she served looked at her curiously. "Auntie Amanda, are you okay? You look worried." She forced a small laugh. "I'm fine, just tired." But she wasn't fine. She was unraveling. By 3 p.m., she could barely hold her spoon steady. Around 4 p.m., when Amanda had almost given up hope, a familiar soft voice appeared behind her. "Auntie Amanda." Amanda turned quickly. Relief washed through her like cold water. "Amara," she breathed. "My dear, where have you been? I was worried." The girl smiled calmly, though her eyes carried a depth Amanda didn't understand. "Sorry," Amara said. "We came late." Amanda frowned at the words. "We?" But before she could ask more, Amara placed her hands on the counter and leaned forward slightly. "Auntie," she said quietly, "my daddy traveled yesterday. He wanted to come this morning, but couldn't. He's coming today, but not yet. Maybe soon." Amanda's heart thudded painfully. "Today? Are you sure?" Amara nodded with certainty. "Daddy said he will come. He told me not to worry." Amanda swallowed. Her palms turned cold again. Okay, I will wait." Amara sat down and Amanda served her as usual. But today the child ate more slowly, more thoughtfully. Several times she looked up at Amanda and smiled a soft, knowing smile that made Amanda even more confused. At a point, Amanda leaned in. "Amara, is your daddy a strict man? Will he be angry with me?" The girl shook her head. "No, daddy is kind. He just wants to thank you." "But why didn't he come before now? Why didn't he take care of you all this while?" Amara paused and lowered her gaze. "He did," she whispered. "More than you know." Amanda opened her mouth to ask what that meant, but before she could speak, a group of market women rushed past, dragging Amanda's attention away. Something was happening. A distant rumbling sound echoed from the main road, a deep engine growl, not the usual kiki or bike noise. The women ran toward the entrance of the market. "Amanda, something big is happening outside," one of them shouted. Amanda looked at Amara, who calmly wiped her mouth with a tissue. The girl whispered, "I think Daddy is close." Amanda's breath caught. How do you know? Amara simply smiled. Market noise began shifting. The usual playful chatter turned into murmuring. Traders left their stalls. Students moved toward the gate. People were craning their necks to see something approaching from the distance. Amanda hesitated. Something inside her told her not to move. Not yet. Auntie, Amara said gently, don't be afraid. I'm not, Amanda began, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. You're shaking, the girl said softly. Amanda looked down at her hands. They were trembling uncontrollably. What is happening? She whispered. Amara, who is your father? But the girl only smiled in that mysterious way she always did when she didn't want to answer yet. Auntie, she said, just wait. You'll see. Amanda felt a strange chill run through her. She stood rooted to the spot while the noise from the road grew louder. One of the men selling phone accessories sprinted past her stall. Ah, Amanda, come and see Convoy, big convoy. I've never seen cars like this before. Convoy? Amanda's heart nearly stopped. She didn't move. She didn't breathe. Her eyes stayed locked on the dusty path leading to the market entrance. People gasped. Students screamed. Vendors shouted in shock. Something massive was entering the market. Amara stood calmly, holding her leftover spoon, her eyes glowing with excitement. Auntie, she whispered, Daddy is here. Amanda's knees almost buckled. Her life was no longer normal, and everything she knew was about to change. The sound reached them before the sight did. A deep, polished engine hum, smooth, heavy, powerful, rolling into the marketplace like thunder wrapped in velvet. Amanda had heard many cars in her life, but nothing like this. The noise alone commanded respect. It made people stop mid-sentence, vendors pause mid-sale, and students turned their heads sharply toward the main road. Then came the screams. Jesus, see the kind of cars coming. Is that a convoy? Who is this important person? Ah, Market Dawn turned presidential ground today. Amanda felt her heart thumping violently against her ribs. Her knees weakened. She clutched the edge of her wooden counter to stay upright. Amara stood calmly beside her, almost glowing. The little girl looked nothing like the hungry stray Amanda had fed for weeks. Her eyes sparkled with anticipation. Her face relaxed, as though this moment was perfectly ordinary for her. Auntie Amanda, she said softly, don't panic. But how could Amanda not panic? The entire market was vibrating with shock. Dust rose as shop owners abandoned their tables, pushing one another just to get a closer look at what was happening. Even the usually proud suya man at the junction left his roasting stick and ran. The convoy grew clearer as it approached. First came two black escort motorcycles, then a sleek, armored Lexus SUV. Behind it another, then a Mercedes Maybach so polished it reflected the sun like a mirror. And finally, the car that stopped everyone's breathing. A white Rolls-Royce Phantom, clean, majestic, gliding forward like royalty arriving at a grand ceremony. The market erupted. Ah, God of mercy, this car is worth millions. Who is this person? What is happening today? Everybody stand back. Somebody important is inside. But the most shocking moment came next. The convoy didn't drive past the market. It turned, it curved, it entered the narrow space between the stalls, and it headed straight toward Amanda's small wooden kiosk. Amanda felt her heart drop into her stomach. No, this cannot be for me, she whispered, shaking her head. But the Rolls-Royce didn't slow down. It moved with purpose. It glided through the open way as if the market had been cleared in advance just for it. Every eye followed it. Every mouth hung open. Every whisper pointed at Amanda's direction. By the time the car stopped directly in front of her stall, the entire market was silent. A silence so heavy, so complete, so shocking, that Amanda could hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. Amara placed her hand gently on Amanda's arm. Auntie, she said, Daddy has arrived. Amanda nearly fainted. The door of the Rolls-Royce opened with slow, graceful precision. Out stepped a man whose presence changed the temperature of the air. Tall, elegant, dark-skinned, immaculately dressed in a deep blue designer suit. He wore confidence like a crown, calm, unforced, and impossible to ignore. His wristwatch alone looked like something worth more than Amanda's entire stall. Behind him, security men stepped out of the other cars, forming a silent wall of authority. Gasps filled the market. Is that not Chief Agu? It is him! It is him! God, a whole Chief Agu came to this small market? What is he doing here? Who is he looking for? Chief Agu, one of the wealthiest men in the entire region, was here, in Amanda's street, at her stall, looking directly at her. Amanda felt like the ground moved. She wanted to run, but her legs wouldn't move. She wanted to speak, but her voice was gone. She wanted to breathe, but her chest refused to expand. Amara ran to him. Daddy! The billionaire bent down and embraced her warmly. He lifted her slightly, kissed her forehead, and held her close with a tenderness that shocked everyone watching. My princess, he whispered. Are you okay? Yes, the girl giggled. Auntie Amanda fed me. Chief Agu smiled, proud, grateful, emotional. Then he lifted his head and looked directly at Amanda. Their eyes met, and Amanda's entire world paused. With slow, controlled steps, Chief Agu walked toward her. His aura alone created space. People stepped back without being told. Even the traitors who once mocked Amanda were now trembling with awe. When he reached her, he placed a hand on his chest respectfully. Good afternoon, Miss Amanda, he said in a deep, elegant voice. Amanda swallowed hard. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Chief Agu, he continued gently, father of Amara, and I am here because of you. Amanda blinked rapidly. Me? Yes, he said. You. He turned slightly to the gathered crowd and raised his voice just enough for everyone to hear. For weeks, this young woman has been feeding my daughter with love, dignity, and kindness. She never once asked for money. She never chased her away. She treated my child like a human being when she thought no one was watching. A wave of shock spread across the market. Amanda's chest tightened. Her eyes filled. Her hands shook. Amara ran back to her and held her hand. Auntie Amanda is good, Daddy, she said proudly. She always feeds me. Chief Agu nodded. I know, my princess. I saw everything. He turned back to Amanda. You didn't know this, he said softly. But each day Amara visited you, I parked at the junction and watched from afar. I wanted to see the kind of heart she would meet. My daughter has been searching for genuine kindness since her mother died, and she found it in you. Amanda's eyes flooded with tears. Chief Agu continued, I didn't send her here as a test. She came on her own. But when I saw how you treated her, I knew God had led her to someone pure. The market murmured in amazement. Then the billionaire said the words that made the crowd gasp. I came here today to thank you publicly and to change your life. Amanda's breath hitched. Chief Agu raised his hand. A man in a suit stepped forward, carrying a small metal case. He opened it. Inside was a document and a check. Amanda, Chief Agu said with sincerity, I want to reward your kindness. Here is a check for $1 million. The market exploded. Women screamed, students shouted, men held their heads. Some people fell to their knees. Amanda stumbled backward, covering her mouth. One million? Yes, he replied. It is nothing compared to what you gave my daughter. You fed her heart, not just her stomach. Amanda could barely stand, but Chief Agu wasn't done. He came closer, his voice low and honest. I also want you to consider something deeper. Amara needs a mother, a woman with a heart like yours. I will not pressure you. I will not force you. But if you ever feel ready, I would be honored to have you in our lives. The entire market froze. Amanda's tears fell uncontrollably. Chief Agu placed his hand gently on her shoulder. No matter your answer, he said tenderly, you will no longer sell on the street. I will relocate you and your parents today. Amanda couldn't speak. She could only cry, soft, overwhelmed, grateful tears. Amara hugged her waist. Auntie Amanda, please don't leave me. Amanda bent down and held her tight. The billionaire watched them with emotion in his eyes. And in that moment, under the hot Nigerian sun, in the middle of a dusty market, Amanda's destiny shifted forever. The shock of the billionaire's visit lingered long after the convoy left the market. Traders stood around Amanda's stall, whispering, gossiping, replaying the moment over and over again. Some congratulated her. Some stared in disbelief. Others simply didn't know what to think. But Amanda stood frozen. The check trembled in her hands. Her eyes burned with tears she couldn't stop. Everything felt unreal. One moment she was a roadside food seller, and the next a billionaire had placed a future in her hands. Amara held Amanda's arm tightly as Chief Agu gently guided them into one of the cars waiting behind. Amanda's legs felt empty, weak, unfamiliar. She kept asking herself if this was a dream she would wake from. "Please relax," Chief Agu said softly. "No harm will ever come to you." His voice was calm, warm, reassuring. Amanda breathed slowly, trying to steady herself. Within 1 hour, Amanda and her parents were relocated to a fully furnished apartment in a gated estate. The home was beautiful, tiles shining, furniture expensive, rooms spacious. Her father walked slowly around the living room, touching the walls with trembling fingers. Her mother cried openly, clutching her wrapper in disbelief. "Amanda, my daughter," her father whispered. "God has changed our story." Her mother hugged her tightly. "You fed a child, and God fed your destiny." Amanda cried again. She had never imagined her small act of kindness could grow into something so powerful, so life-transforming. Chief Agu handled everything with grace. He personally inspected the apartment details, ensured the family was comfortable, and paid for her parents' medical checkups. He hired private nurses to care for them and promised they would lack nothing again. Yet despite his generosity, Amanda's heart remained unsettled, not with fear, but with confusion. A billionaire wanted her in his life. His daughter adored her. The entire state now whispered her name, but she was still Amanda, the girl who used to wake up at 4 a.m. to cook jollof by the roadside. It was overwhelming. That night, Amanda couldn't sleep. She sat by the bedroom window, watching the quiet lights of the estate. She replayed the moment Amara hugged her in the market. The little girl's voice echoed again. "Auntie Amanda, please don't leave me." Her heart tightened. She didn't want to leave Amara either. But was she ready for such a life? Was she ready for a billionaire? Was she ready to be a mother to a child who had already claimed her heart? The questions tore at her. The next morning, Chief Agu visited the house alone. No convoy, no noise. He came quietly, humbly, with a gentle smile that calmed Amanda's anxious heart. "May I speak with you?" he asked softly. Amanda nodded nervously and led him to the sitting room. Her parents excused themselves, giving them privacy. Chief Agu sat forward slightly. "You have been overwhelmed, I understand. I purposely gave you time because it is a life-changing situation." Amanda lowered her gaze. "Sir, I just don't know if I deserve this, or if I can handle this life." He nodded. "Amanda, listen carefully. You don't have to be rich to deserve love. You don't need a perfect background to be a mother. You don't need big English or fancy clothes to be a good woman. My daughter fell in love with you because your heart is pure. I noticed you because your kindness was real. I am offering you a place in our lives, not because I want to rescue you, but because I want to build something meaningful with someone who understands love." Amanda's eyes filled with tears. "I did not feed Amara to gain anything," she whispered. "I fed her because she reminded me of struggle, of innocence, of the kind of child I once was." "And that," he replied, "is exactly why you are the right person." He took a breath, then spoke with gentle courage. "Amanda, I want you to marry me." Amanda's heart stopped. Her breath vanished. Her world tilted. Chief Agu continued softly, "Not because you fed my daughter, not because you are kind, but because I have watched you, listened to you, and seen how your spirit aligns with mine. You brought life back into Amara, and unknowingly, you brought light into mine." Amanda covered her face with her hands. Tears rolled uncontrollably. "I'm afraid my life has changed too fast." He touched her hand lightly. Then we walked slowly, together. The sincerity in his voice broke the last wall around her heart. Amanda looked into his eyes and saw a man who had lost a wife, raised a daughter alone, and still carried love within him. A man looking not for beauty or status, but for goodness. "Please give me 2 days," she whispered. He nodded. "Take all the time you need." He left quietly. 2 days later, Amanda woke with an unusual stillness in her heart. She sat on the edge of her bed, thinking of all the moments that had led her here. Her parents' suffering, her struggles, the market gossip, the first day Amara came, the rainstorm, the convoy, the Rolls Royce, the billionaire's quiet smile, and the child who had clung to her like a lifeline. Then she remembered something her mother had once told her. God hides blessings inside people we least expect. Amanda dressed slowly, walked to the living room where Chief Agu and Amara were waiting, and stood before them with trembling hands. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "Yes, I accept." Amara screamed with joy and ran into her arms. Chief Agu closed his eyes briefly, whispering a soft prayer of gratitude as emotion filled his face. Their wedding was small but beautiful. Elegant decorations, close friends, heartfelt music. Amanda wore a simple but stunning white gown. Her parents cried from the front row, dressed better than they had ever been in their lives. Amara carried flowers, walking proudly beside Amanda, telling everyone, "This is my mummy now." Chief Agu held Amanda's hands and looked at her with admiration. "You fed my daughter and fed my soul," he said as he placed the ring on her finger. "Today, I give you my life." Amanda whispered, "Thank you for seeing me worthy." The crowd applauded, the officiator blessed their union, and just like that, the girl who once cooked by the university gate became the wife of a billionaire and the mother of a child who loved her deeply. Nothing about it was luck. It was destiny shaped by kindness, a kindness that turned a roadside food seller into a queen of a home built with love. Moral of the story: true kindness is never wasted. The good we do in secret becomes the doorway to blessings we never imagined. Compassion has a voice, and destiny listens. When you help others with a pure heart, life finds a way to reward you beautifully. Thank you for watching this emotional story of kindness, destiny, and unexpected blessings. Amanda's life changed because she chose compassion over judgment, proving that every good deed carries a reward. If this story touched your heart, share it, leave a comment, and join us for more. God bless you.